gonna do a countdown and we start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Part 3 of FAQs. This one is no longer relevant. Actually, no, it is relevant. What am I saying? Yeah, so it's still relevant. The one that isn't relevant anymore is the reservations for defense. There was a referendum last year, and that was scrapped. All right, this is still relevant. Sorry for the mistake. 14 people got this wrong. I'll say it again. So all the questions you're going to see tonight are questions that you need to know the answers to. I've shown you on the website where you can go and practice all these questions. There's about 185 of them, or 186. Everything is on the website. We're just practicing this today. All right, next one. All right, only 2 people got this wrong. Round of applause for you guys. That was for the people that got it right, not the people that got it wrong. For the people that got it wrong, at least now you know what you don't know. On to the next one. I'm actually surprised that so many people got this wrong. So 1944, Johannes V. Janssen won the prize for the Nobel Prize for Literature. And this was during World War II. Well, at least now you know what you don't know. You're definitely going to see that again when we start practicing with the past exams. Next one. Yes, so Saxo wrote Gesta Danorum, and it was written in Latin. And it's about Denmark's history. All right, on to the next one. So Bertel Thorvaldsen is Denmark's most famous sculptor. There is a museum named after him, very close to the parliament. It's a big yellow building. And he's buried in there. And you could go in there and have a look at all his sculptures, or some of them, not all of them. But I think people got this wrong. At least now you know what you don't know. Next one. All right, so a lot of the people that were in the top 5 have fallen out. We've got Aman at number 1, Deeps at number 2, Pan at number 3, Laura at number 4, and Marie at number 5. Aku just hit a answer streak of 5.
Excellent.
Right. We've got 40 questions to go. All right. So Asger was one of the first Danish contemporary artists, and he had a group called Cobra. I can't remember what that stood for, but you can see his artwork at SMK. So if you go to SMK and you go through the building, it actually takes you through like the history of Danish art. So you see people like, I think Eckersberg is there, who's one of the forefathers of Danish art, all the way to Asger. And you can see how things changed over time. So Eckersberg was painting more like landscapes, and Asger was just throwing paint on the canvas. It looks nice, actually. I'd highly recommend that you check it out. 16 people got this wrong. I'm actually surprised. How come? Anyways, now you know what you don't know. Next one. This was a combo breaker. 3 players dropped the answer streak of 5. Hopefully, more people get this right. All right, not bad. Only 5 people got this wrong. So Jan Utzon, a Danish architect that designed the Opera House in Sydney, Australia. Next one. Hopefully you all get this right. All right, round of applause. All right. Well done. So the Queen and a minister sign in new laws. 4 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. On to the next one. Yes, it's Queen Margaret II. Margaret I was Valdemar Attertag's daughter, and she actually formed the Kalmar Union. Margaret II is the current queen, and I actually don't know who this droning Dagmar is. But anyways, only 2 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. All right, so currently we have Pan at number 1, Aman at number 2, Tanka 3, Kudos 4, and Marie 5. These are semi-familiar names. 12 players just reached an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
We've got 35 questions to go. You've seen this before, definitely. All right, so only 2 people got this wrong. There's not much to explain here. Every New Year's Eve, the Queen has a speech. Now you know what you don't know. $240,000 Germans came to Denmark right after World War II. This is there's a section in, I think it's the chapter 6, the theme chapter, that is focused on immigration. I would highly recommend you go and make a list of the periods that Denmark had. There's different periods where Denmark had, high immigration rates. 12 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. I think this showed up in the previous exam as well. Next one. All right, so Aman fell out. Tanker is now at number 2. Kudos on the podium at number 3. Marie, 4, and MC, 5. This is also about immigration to Denmark. 7 people got this wrong, not too bad. Like I said before, I highly suggest you check out that part of chapter 6 that talks about immigration to Denmark. $5.8 million. All right. Okay, 11 people got this wrong. So Kierkegaard lived in the 1800s. So did H.C. Andersen. And they were both contemporaries. I think they were also friends. They didn't make it out of the 1800s. On to the next one. All right, so at the moment, we still have Pan at number 1, Tanker number 2, Kudos number 3, Sunny at number 4, and Rahim Aslami at number 5. Blue Tomato is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
We've got 30 questions to go. All right, so the next biggest religion in Denmark is Islam. 7 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Like I said, I'll keep saying this over and over again. You need to know the answers to every single one of these questions. There's about 185 to 186 of them. You can find them on the website. I will show you after this session where to find them. All right, next one. Marie is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and she's on fire.
This girl is on fire.
Yes, so about 3/4, so that's about 70-something%. are members of the Danish Folkekirken, Dansk Folkekirken. 11 people got this wrong. I know what you don't know. Next one. You've seen this before. All right, almost perfect score. Round of applause for 41 of you. On to the next one. You've seen this before as well. Hopefully you all get this right. Okay, 5 of you got it wrong. So NFS Grundtvig was a priest and also I think he was a philosopher or something. But anyways, he's the father of, well, the idea of the Folkehøjskole, which is the public school system here, which was set up to make sure that basically everyone in Denmark had the opportunity to get an education. And it was mainly the children of farmers that went to the Folkehøjskole. So this is from the 1800s. So this is way, way back. All right, on to the next one. Static top 5. Not much is going on there. Yes, it's 5 to 6 years. So there's the short, there's the medium, and then there's the long one. The long one is 5 to 6 years. I think make a list of how long it takes for each of those. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but it's all in the book, so check it out. And like I always say, please make sure you're reading the book. Okay, the first time you read the book, it's not going to make any sense. There's so much information, you're going to get confused. The trick is this: keep doing the quizzes, right? What the quizzes are going to do is going to kind of help you know where to focus and what kind of information to focus on in the book. So read the book through the first time. It's not going to make too much sense. And then go through it the second time. And for both times, keep practicing with the quizzes. And what actually happens is that the quizzes start getting easier. And also reading the book starts getting easier as well. On to the next one. All right, so at the moment we have Pan, Kudos, Sunny, Keshab, Rahim, and Rahim Aslami. So that's 1 to 5. Tanker is back in the game 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my, he's on fire!
All right, so Tanker usually is in the top 5. He fell out. I think he made a mistake, but he's on his way back. We've got 25 questions to go. All right, so I think homosexuals got the right to get married in Dansk Folkekirken in 2012. So sometimes they ask about the date as well. So 5 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. On to the next one. I just gave you the answer to this. Hopefully you guys were listening, but let's see. Well, I think are we past the halfway mark? We're at the halfway mark. So if you all get this right, you get an explosion. Oh man. I just gave the answer to this in the previous question. So I guess not everyone is actually listening to what I'm saying, but anyways. Yes, 2012. 7 people got this wrong. On to the next one. All right. So Denmark became Protestant, and the Catholic Church was removed, and Dansk Folkekirken was created. The king became the head of the church and took over all the property that used to belong to the Catholic Church. So more or less, the Reformation was a power move by the king. It had actually not so much to do with religious beliefs or anything like that. 13 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know, and you have a bit of context. All right, on to the next one. Sonny has the highest answer streak of 23.
Wow!
And he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Not bad. This deserves a round of applause. Okay. So during Christian IV's time, he was involved in a lot of wars with Sweden, and he actually lost most of those wars. So the answer to this is Sweden. Christian IV was, I think, the king during the 1600s, and he reigned for about 60 years. Next one. Yes, so when Christian IV lost one of the wars, he also lost some land. He lost Halland, Blekinge, and I can't remember the name of the last one. There's 3 pieces of land that he lost, 3 regions. And as a result, Denmark lost a lot of its population and yeah, land as well, and money. So 12 people got this wrong. Skåne, yes, thank you. 12 people got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. This is a frequently asked question. You need to know the answers to every single one of these questions. There's about 185, 186 of them. Okay? I will show you on the website where you can find them and practice with them. If there's any set of questions you need to know the answer to, you basically, to lock down half of the exam, you need to know the answers to every single one of those questions so that when you just see them, it's automatic, you answer it. And then there's the other half where you would have never seen before, and you'll only get right if you've read the book. However, like I've pointed out before, on the website, I've made quizzes for every single chapter and every single subsection of every single chapter. So if you go through those quizzes, you will cover everything. You cover all the information as well. But please read the book, okay? Read the book and do the quizzes on the website repeatedly. And that way you're covered. You covered the whole base. All right. So at the moment we have Han, Kudos, Keshab, Rahim, Aslami, MC. Hulit is back in the game 3 in a row and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. Yes, so in 1661, what happened? So before 1661, the power was shared between the king, the nobles, and the church. And I don't remember exactly what happened. There was a war. That war was lost. The king sanctioned the nobles because they didn't pay enough tax. And then the king created the absolute monarchy, which is this Enneveld. Not sure if I'm saying it the right way. But yeah, that's the kind of context behind this. How many people got this wrong? 17 people got this wrong. That's a lot. Well, at least now you know what you don't know. This shows up a lot. Okay. So Han dropped from number 1 to number 5, and Kudos has risen to number 1. Round of applause to Kudos. Let's see if she actually lost at the top. Let's see how it goes. Yes, so Stounsbund was it started in 1733, and it was a way for the king. So basically it was a law that was put forward by the king, and the nobles needed cheap labor, basically. And they created this law where if a farmer or his descendants were born in a certain region, they couldn't leave that region until they were 40 years old. And in that way, the nobles would secure cheap labor. Well, it was actually free labor for the land, their farms. And that's how they made money back in the day. Started in 1733, and it was abolished in 1788, so it lasted 55 years. Sometimes they ask about when it started. Next one. Okay, here we go. I just gave the answer to this, so hopefully you were listening. Okay, one person wasn't listening. Round of applause for the people that were. Okay, so Eva is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and she's on fire.
Excellent.
Keshab has now taken the number 1 spot. We have 17 questions to go. All right, you guys didn't do too bad in this. Only 4 people got this wrong. This is the Second Schleswig War. Next one. Kudos back at number 1. September Folio. I can't remember exactly the details behind this. Skips my mind at the moment. Sorry, I don't have a story for this. On to the next one. All right, so at the moment we have Kudos at number 1, Keshab number 2, Tanker back in the top 5 at number 3, Raheem Aslami number 4, and MC at number 5. Moon is the highest climber, up 3 places. All right, we have 14 questions to go. So this half of the Kahoot is where you can start getting explosions. So if everyone gets a question correct, then explosion. And if someone is at number 1 and they have 100%, they're at number 1 and they're on fire, they also get an explosion. So 15 questions to go. Let's see how that goes. Read the question slowly. All right, so 1924, the Social Democrats, that was the first Social Democratic Prime Minister, Thorvald Stauning, elected 1924. Also, the same year, he appointed Nina Bang, the first female minister. She was Undervisningsminister minister. They've never asked what ministry she was head of, and I don't know, they might ask about it, but so she was the education minister at the time. 14 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug the knowledge gap. This was a combo breaker. 5 players just dropped the answer streak of 4. Sorry, guys. I just gave you the answer to this. Hopefully you were listening. At least 10 of you weren't listening. Okay. On to the next one. People got this wrong. Okay. So Germany invaded Denmark and demanded that the Danish government works in partnership with the Nazis. Denmark had no choice but to say yes. Initially, when Germany invaded via Sønderjylland, Denmark resisted. It only lasted a few hours and a bunch of people were killed, and the king didn't think there was any point in resisting. So fast forward to 1943. A lot of Danes started sabotaging the Nazis within Denmark, and there were some strikes in some cities. So the Nazis demanded that the Danes implement the death penalty for people that were sabotaging the Nazis. The Danish government said no, and they basically said, we're not working with you guys anymore. And I think the leader of the government at the time was someone called Erik Scavenius or something like that. They handed in their kind of resignation, and that was it. The department chiefs were appointed to kind of administer the government while there was no official government at the time. I'm giving a bit of context because there's a whole bunch of information in there. And the thing I've just said, obviously, this is all in the book. And that information, there've never been questions about that information that I just gave. So that might be a source of new questions. Just to kind of break down what I mean by this, okay? So if you think of this test as 3 bags, okay? So one bag is frequently asked questions. Another bag is questions that you've never seen before. And then the other bag obviously is the current affairs and the Danish values, which there's no material to prepare for. But obviously, if you pay attention to the news, you'll have you'll have information about current affairs. Danish values is kind of intuitive. I've explained before, I'll explain again as we get closer to the exam. So frequently asked questions, make sure you know all of those. There's a pool of questions you know nothing about. The way you answer those questions is reading the book and practicing with the quizzes on the website. Current affairs, pay attention to the news. Danish values follows some kind of theme, like I said before, and I will explain. I've also explained before, and you can go to the YouTube channel and have a look there. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so Keshab is now at number 1, Raheem Aslami number 2, Tanka 3, MC4, Pan 5. Kudos fell out of the top 5. 4 players international streak 6.
Excellent.
On to the next one. All right. Only 2 people got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. Next one. 10 questions to go and we're done with this. You guys are doing well so far. Good work. It's the 5th of May, 1945. 13 people got this wrong. Keshab, number 1, Raheem Aslami, number 2, Tanka, number 3, Pan, 4, Kudos, 5. CC is back in the game 3 in a row.
Excellent.
10 questions to go. Wow, almost everyone got this right. Azimi is on fire. Yes, so the Cold War started after the Second World War, and it was an ideological war and also an arms race between the US and the Soviet Union at the time. There's not much information. There's not much more information I have about that. Next one. Tanka is climbing these ranks, man. Tanka is impressive. So he was in the top 5, fell out, came right back. Now he's at number 2. Round of applause. Says DK is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. We're almost done. Yeah, So back in the 60s, the young people were criticizing, well, beginning to question traditional norms. And one of the things they were criticizing was the nuclear family and why people need to get married and all that kind of stuff. On to the next one. Yes, so Paul Schluter, I think he's the longest reigning Danish prime minister and the only prime minister ever from the Conservative People's Party from 1982 to 1993. All right. Afghanistan and Iraq. So this was just right after the Twin Towers were attacked in New York. Only 4 people got this wrong. All right, so at the moment we have Keshab at number 1, Tanker right behind him at number 2, Raheem. Number 3, Kudos back in the top 5 at number 4, Pan at number 5. 5 players just hit an answer streak of 7.
Excellent.
5 questions to go. Yes, Anders Fogh Rasmussen, former Danish Prime Minister. Hopefully you all know this. Yes, so the legislature is shared between, legislative power shared between the government and the parliament. So it's the government that proposes majority of the new laws, and it's the parliament that debates those laws and either accepts them or rejects them. 12 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. You're definitely going to see that again. 3 questions to go. Wow. Okay, I'm actually shocked that people got this wrong. So in Denmark, power is shared between, well, there's executive power, legislative power, and judiciary power. So judiciary power lies with the courts, executive power lies with the government, and legislative power. So this is executive power. And the question is, does the government have executive power? The answer is yes. Legislative power is the one you saw before, and that's shared between the government and the parliament. So let's see what happens in the next question. Of course, everybody knows this. Wow. Okay, one person doesn't know this. At least now you know what you don't know. For the people that got this right, round of applause. So the question is, what's the name of the Danish parliament? And by the way, in the exam, read the question slowly. You have 1 minute per question. Okay, so you got 45 questions, 45 minutes, 1 minute per question. Read the question slowly. Make sure you understand what's being asked, and then read the answers slowly, and then go ahead and answer. And I had a conversation with someone this evening, right? So basically, I wouldn't see when you answer all your questions, don't get anxious, then go back and change the answers to your questions, because that leads to a lot of people failing the exam. And I've heard from more than one person that that's how they failed the exam. So they passed and they sat down there because they finished early. And then they got anxious, went and looked again, and then changed it. And then they failed the exam by 1 point. So please don't do that. Read the question slowly, read the answers slowly, then go ahead and answer. All right, we're going to the last question. At the moment, we have Keshab, Tanker, Rahim, Pan, Deeps. 4 players hit an answer streak of 7.
Excellent.
Last question. Wow. Okay. The last question goes. Well done, guys. This is good work. Okay, so Rahim at number 3. Tanker at number 2. He's at number 1. Keshab. All right.